Hello. Hi, girls. How are you all? So I have popped on tonight. I put a couple of posts up to say that I wanted to do a Facebook Live on aging smarter. Okay, so um, I'm going to give people a minute to get logged on. Hi, Katie. Hope you're all right after your epic class. So if you can hear me all right, can you give me a little thumbs up or a wee cross or something in the chat box just so I can see that we are able to actually hear me? Because if you can't, then there is no point in me being here. So give me some kind of indication that you can hear me, that you can see me, that everything's hunky-dory, and then we can kick off. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Not seen you for ages. Sharon, hello, girl. Hello. Right, who else we got? And can you hear me, first of all? Katie, thumbs up. Perfect. I'm assuming that means that you can hear me. Excellent. Yep. Hi, Tash. How you doing? Cool. So we've got lots of people joining. So tonight I'm going to cover off like aging smarter, and the decades that I'm covering are 30s, 40s, and 50s. So please do not get your knickers in a twist if you're in your 20s or your 60s. 50s kind of covers into early 60s anyway, but I mean, I specialise working with women in their 30s and 40s and sometimes in their 50s. So from a nutrition and exercise point of view, a lady in their 20s is not my niche. I mean, I know the basics, but I typically work with older women. So yes, that's what we're going to be covering off. So in the comment box, could you put down not your age, don't never ask a real lady your age, but kind of the decade bracket that you're in, 30s, 40s, or 50s. And that will help me kind of just see where everybody's at. And then we can get started. Hi, Claire, how you doing? And then we'll just get started once I know what kind of age brackets we've got. So I have got all the notes, which I will be referring to because when we get to the bit about in our 40s, which is where I am, there's maybe something about memory lapses. So I would love to keep this interactive, guys. So if you've got questions, get them in the box. There is a bit of a lag when we do Facebook Live. So get your questions in and I will pick them up as we go. All right, so aging smarter. Right, so from when we are born, really, we are aging, but we typically think about aging probably when we come to our late 20s almost, when we start seeing some of these aging effects in our face. But there's so much more going on than just a few more wrinkles and whatnot. And this tonight is about talking about what are the really positive things that happen in these decades, and what are the negative things, because there are shitty things that happen to us at certain points in our lives. And I'm going to give you some hints and tips of things that you should be doing within that specific time bracket to help you age smarter. All right. So if that works for you, give me a thumbs up, give me a something. If it doesn't, then go and get your dinner. Seriously. Okay. So in our 30s. So typically what we find when we reach our 30s and we're into our 30s, that we have this, we're a lot more confident in ourselves, and that just doesn't mean in our bodies, but with our brain. We tend to be quite, maybe not established in our careers, but certainly we have a really good idea of what it is that we want to be doing, and we kind of lose that element of that fear of missing out almost that we have in our 20s, and we're getting to grips more with our own identity and what that means to us. And we also find that we might not have found the right career. I talk to a lot of women who in their late 30s, early 40s make changes to their career. But that is that whole part of the identity thing, that you think you know everything in your 20s and your teens and your 20s, and then you get into your 30s and you become more established, maybe have some career advancement, and then you start asking yourself the hard questions: is this what I want to do with my life? And that's where it often starts in our 30s. So for the most part, and this isn't for everyone, but typically we find in our 30s we're starting to feel a bit more settled with family, relationships, and longer term relationships, maybe having kids. and we're feeling a little bit more stable in terms of income, i.e. we are not spending our last £11.40 every week on a packet of Marlboro Lights and Glen's vodka. Not a true story. Didn't happen to me. Oh no. So we're a bit more stable with our income. We tend to have monthly paychecks by this point because we're a little bit more stable in our life, okay? And also what is happening here is that we are becoming more aware about our overall health. And that's, I mean, you get that across all channels of social media. We get it in the news. We get it everywhere that we should start, oh, at this decade, X, Y, and Z happens. All of these things start happening to us. We become more aware of us being in a specific bracket. What also happens in our 30s, which really, really affected me for some reason, is, you know, when you do these surveys or quizzes and it always goes, what age bracket are you in? You're like, 30 to 34. And you're like, that's a bit shit. And what's even worse is when you turn 40. And you're like, oh, I'm in that bracket now, it's awful. So the bad things about turning 30, right, in terms of our physiology and our makeup, so it becomes harder to lose weight. Now, for some people, it's pretty much within a few weeks of turning 30 almost. You find that the weight doesn't come off you as quickly as it maybe did once upon a time. So that's because your metabolism is reducing. And every decade, our metabolism reduces even further. We start finding that if we have an uncomfortable sleep, our joints and our muscles are quite sore in the morning. We can't quite just get up and be, woo, bouncy. And it takes us longer to recover, not only from workouts, but also from hangovers. Like, you maybe found that from your 30th onwards, like, hangovers just became horrific, and then as you get older they become more horrific. But longer recovery time is very, very apparent, one of these things that happens. So that's something to be mindful of, not just for hangovers but for workouts, for exertion. If you're starting a new fitness regime from nothing, it's going to be more difficult than if you had started in your 20s. Okay, and downside life can become more complex, so potentially we find out things about ourselves or about our families that we don't like. We have relationship crises, we maybe have challenges having kids, we maybe have first wave of redundancy that's ever happened. You know, all these like real life grown-up things that start happening. It becomes a little bit like, oh, I don't want to be a grown-up anymore. Sorry, I just need to scroll down, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Right, hi ladies, hi Fiona, hi Emma, cool name. And we also find that although we're much more almost settled in ourselves, there's much more demands on you in terms of time. So work might be quite challenging, family life might be quite challenging time of time, and higher levels of responsibility as well, and that can take up valuable headspace, start our first onset of feeling stress, like proper stress, which then means that we potentially have less time to work out and prepare healthy foods. So things that you should be doing in your 30s to help you age in the best way possible. Now, we're never going to reverse it, and what we wouldn't want to, because I mean, life is such a huge whirlwind, it's such a huge experience, and there's loads of opportunity wherever you go, so we don't want to stop it. I maybe want to stop it here and here slightly, get a bit jowly in my age, but certainly look at reducing your calories. So if you remember back in your 20s or your teens, and you could go out and sink, Christ knows how much alcohol you could drink, a lot of alcohol, and maybe go out dancing, maybe skip a couple of meals and go out clubbing, and then boom, you've lost half a stone. That's not going to work. Now that starts slowing right down. So that lifestyle that you maybe had in your teens and in your 20s, in terms of your body, you can't get away with that as much. Okay, we need to be looking at quality of food intake, so thinking, veering away more from processed foods, eating whole foods. I loathe the term clean eating, but like less processed, more fruit and veg, more lean animal proteins if you eat meat. Looking at ways of making sure that you're getting as much nutrient dense quality foods as possible. We may start finding sensitivities to alcohol, and I hear this quite a lot from women in their 30s that maybe used to go out and hammer it, and then not even from a hangover point of view in their 30s, but they start noticing they get rashes or they become like completely floored really, really quickly, and that is just an increase in sensitivity. So that's something to be mindful. Suddenly becoming almost allergic to wine, that has happened quite a lot. I hear that quite a lot, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That would not be a bad thing for me. That would be a good thing for me. But we need to start also looking at optimizing our hormonal health, because at this stage we're either having children. Some of us are actually entering perimenopause at this stage as well, which is a period of time leading up to menopause, and that has huge challenges around our fat loss goals. It has challenges around kind of our ability to cope with life as well. So here we should be looking at ways of maximizing our time to be able to exercise. So exercise as we're in our 30s is becoming more vital, not just from a I want to be lean point of view, but also from a I want to protect my bone health, I want to increase my muscle mass, and I'll talk more about that as we go through. So finding ways to help you manage your time is also huge. So it could be quick hit workouts, it could be doing meal prep, it could be enlisting the support, getting a meal prep company to do your meal prep. You know, think outside the box and look at things that are going to help you maximize your time, because at the end of the day, if you're working full time, you've got a stressful job, you've maybe got the responsibility of a team, you're answering to senior management, or you are senior management, but you're going home and you've got 2 kids and you're just completely knackered. You need to find ways to maximize your time, because you will then suffer in terms of health and stress, and you'll crash. And we don't want that. That's bad. Okay, that's your 30s. 40s. So what a great time to be alive in your 40s, seriously. No, it is. So yes, in the good stuff, we start finding that we are more particular with what we do with our life. So we're a lot more confident about saying yes to things that know are going to help us, and saying no to things that we don't want to do. And that comes from this kind of inner confidence and a little bit more realization of we need to maximize the time that we have. So there's no point in spending time doing shit that you don't want to do. We're looking at higher career development. So a lot of us find that kids aren't young babies anymore. We've got a little bit more time to focus on our own development. So maybe start looking at different careers, or looking at promotions, looking at qualifications. And that's a really good time for us. We are taking more risks. We're maybe a little bit more financially settled, so we maybe do a little bit more of an investment. We are looking at things going, oh, I wish I'd done that. Like even just something like a really daft example, like a bungee jump. Like I'm never going to do it, never in a million years. But a lot of people go, oh, I wish I'd done things like that when I was younger, and they start looking to do things that challenge them. In their 40s, we have much better relationships with those round about us. So less fake friendships. So again, cannot be bothered. Hi. That's my husband just walked past there. So we have much better, stronger relationships with our partner, with our parents, with our kids, less ridiculous fake friendships, and focusing on quality friendships. And we have a little bit more time to spend on stress management, and start looking at ways of being able to maximize our mindset almost. So downsides. Now, this is where you start noticing where your previous decade's life choices are showing an impact. Okay, so if you have been a bit of a girl about town in your previous years, then that it doesn't necessarily catch up with you, but you will start noticing going, oh my God, I couldn't even think of doing that anymore, or where did I get the energy, all these kind of things. You might start noticing facially, like these wee bits here, these wee bits here. And like your metabolism is getting much slower, like much slower. So you're going to find it even harder to lose weight, in terms of like where you may have normally been lean, you start piling on the weight and you don't know how, because nothing else has changed. You're still working out hard, but you're gaining weight, and areas of your body maybe are not as tight as they once were. So you start losing muscle mass. That is a really big thing that happens in our 40s. And it's at this stage as well that our bone health doesn't start deteriorating, but it's certainly not getting any better. So we need to start looking at bone health. Okay, so age-related muscle loss is a big thing. We start noticing more aches and pains. We're easier to get injured. It takes longer for us to rehab from those injuries. General health problems, so you may find that even just a common cold takes you a longer time to recover from as well. Now, this is all fun, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, go 40s. Happy days. Oh, there's Catherine Sobers. Hi, Catherine. Oh, Catherine, your work must be super good just now, all this extra rainfall that's happening. Right, anyway, back on it. So, hormone health, we are noticing reduction in some of our hormones. So, our thyroid is beginning to be not as happy as what it is. So, if we have an underactive thyroid, it means that it's harder for it to lose weight. Overactive thyroid, we drop weight very, very quickly. Now, that is not something that requires blood tests, and your doctor. It is also a natural sign of getting older as well. So if that is something that you think is a real possibility, your doctor would go through the questionings to make sure that this is just not standard. And for the most of us in our 40s, losing weight is more challenging. Our thyroid won't have actually changed. It's small percentage that we see thyroid challenges. Okay, sex hormones are reducing as well. Maybe find desire is lower, comfort levels are lower. So this is all natural, and there are ways round about that. Not going to go into it in this video. It's harder to gain muscle, so if you have been fairly active lifting weights previous decades, that muscle tone is not going to, your muscle is not going to grow as quickly, so the definition is not going to be as strong as it once was. And changes will restore fat as well, which is also nice. So just from speaking from personal experience, up until last year, I'd always naturally very flat stomach, narrowed in waist, and I'm finding storing a little bit of fat there now that I've not done before. So just where all these lovely squidgy bits are, change. Yeah, just life, love it. And our athletic performance goes down, which is also really nice when surrounded by the young things. You're like, yeah, I should be doing better. But you know, these are not things that are meant to break us. You just use them as an opportunity, because there are ways round about all of these. All right, I'm going to come to that. So also at this stage, perimenopausal is hugely common. Some of you will have noticed already that your periods aren't as regular, the flow is heavier, the flow is lighter. You know, you might not start getting hot flushes or anything yet, but the tiredness, and this is just hormonal shifts in your body leading into that menopausal stage. So you are officially menopausal, you're officially in your menopause once you've not had your period for a year. So that can happen really. Perimenopause can actually happen from mid-30s, right through to mid-50s. So anywhere in that bucket, stick a timeline in it. Okay, so in order to cope with these changes that are happening, you need to adjust your calories yet again, so you need less calories as you get older. So adjusting those calories are very important. So see, when you do that whole thing, I'm gaining weight but nothing is changing, it's because your metabolism slowed down. You're now consuming more calories than what you need to be able to lose body fat. Add more strength training. So if you've been a runner, if you only do cardio, now is the time to add some resistance training. So if you're at a gym, ask for an induction to use the equipment. If you see if you can get a PT for a couple of sessions to learn how to use a barbell. You know, start now. It is imperative. We want our muscle health. We want our muscles to get bigger. The bigger your muscles are, it's not going to make you bulky. You are not going to be a bodybuilder unless that's what you want to be and you train and eat right. But you're not going to get bulky. So we need, if our muscles are working harder and they are stronger, it means our metabolism is faster, which means when that calorie adjustment doesn't need to be as big. So you can still eat food, good food, and enjoy the food. All right. We also need strength training to protect our joints and our bones. We do not want to start seeing deterioration in our bone health later on in life. That then impacts our likelihood of osteoporosis, which is such a debilitating illness, and increase the risk of breaks because we're going to fall more. Also, doing strength training reduces your risk of falling. Did you know that? There you go. Right. We also want to be eating right. So again, quality of food, high level of nutrients, very important. We want to ensure that we're stabilizing our blood sugar levels. This is going to help us reduce the risk of diabetes, and it's also going to help us with our muscle mass as well. We need to build in more prehab activity. So that means more stretching, more active recovery, more mobility work, very important. So your warm up, you cannot just go straight into the gym and do your workout anymore. You need to do some mobility stuff, work on that posterior chain, back, bum, hamstrings, hugely important. And quality of food covered. Keep an eye on sensitivities again. You might start finding that food sensitivities start to increase. You get more of a reaction to certain foods, skin rashes, bloating, flatulence. It's time to keep a journal. Keep a note of what you're doing and look back to see if there's any triggers. Start researching supplements. I cannot prescribe supplements to you, especially, well, I can, but not in a group environment. But research supplements for your needs, okay? So that means not just going to go and buy a multivitamin, okay? Research for your needs. All right, and now's the time to start focusing on mindful eating if you're not already doing it. So eat slowly, eat till 80% full, don't overeat. That's it. Okay, God, I've gone so over than what I wanted to do. Sorry, ladies. In your 50s, love it. Got a few on here tonight, I think. 50s, 50s, 50s. I'm not calling out names. 50s, 50s, 50s. Here we go. Right. Renewed sense of purpose. This is big. So we may be experiencing older children. We may be experiencing, again, at the peak of our careers, and thinking ahead, going, right, okay, well, what's next? And that gives you a renewed sense of purpose. Vitality, but this is reported a lot, that you kind of come through that 40s going, oh, I'm knackered. And then you're like that, boom, yes, let's do it. Less responsibilities in terms of family stuff, which is can help free up some time and some brain power, and not feeling so pushed and pulled between different responsibilities. You're a lot more sure of yourself. And again, going back to your 40s, when you're feeling, you can say yes to things that you should do, no to things that you don't want to do. That's now just life for you. But now is the time to start looking at balance, and start not necessarily not enjoying yourself. Well, yeah, enjoying yourself, but with purpose. With purpose, and get able to focus on the priorities. And everybody's priorities are different. For some people, it's retirement. For some people, it's family. For some people, it's a new job. For some people, it's health. You know, all of these things. So challenges, we have proper physical signs of aging now. So our skin is very, very different. Our body skin is very, very different. The elastic and the collagen is reduced a lot. Joints are actually creaking, aching, and a lot harder to recover from. You'll find that areas that were previously very lean are now squishy. Love that phrase. A little bit squishy. Heartburn also comes up quite a lot. We notice quite a big increase in heartburn in our 50s, changes in your digestive system, sensitivities to different foods. That's what that's caused by. Circadian rhythm is a little bit whacked, so you may become you may rise at 4:30 in the morning just for fun. So in your 20s, maybe even in your early 30s, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning was your coming in time or going to sleep time, and now that's your getting up time. So yeah, these changes are all absolutely natural, and there's ways that you can try and overcome that. Meditation, you know, mindfulness, gratitude journals, you know, loads of things. Chanting, don't know where that came from. I don't chant, don't know, some of you might chant. So where were we? By now, we are either in menopause, post-menopause, still going through menopause. So just everything that I said there in your 40s about reducing your calories, again. So you may find that the food that you can't, not that the food that you eat to maintain your shape and size is less than what it was in your 40s again. So that does not mean you should be eating like a sparrow, but my biggest tip is, again, get exercising, get doing strength training, because the more strength training you do, the higher metabolism is, so therefore you can eat more, which is what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Make sure you're getting enough essential fatty acids in. Omega-3, hugely important for your brain function and your eye health, especially at this age. There you go. And everything else is exactly the same. So the quality of your food, your mindful eating, ensuring that you're getting nutrient dense foods, slowing down your eating, eating to 80% full, That's all big parts of being able to reduce that calorie intake as well. So that's it. That's all I wanted to cover off. Now, if you want a copy of that document, I want you to put down in the comments, copy. Yeah, that's shit. Copy in the comments, and I'll get that over to you, but it won't be till later on. It'll be either tomorrow or Friday. So, any questions? Go and hit me up. I need some questions before I go. Any questions? Hi, Joanna. Hi, Amanda. Hi. I was thinking of you the other day. Somebody's still in a cupboard. Nobody else will get what I'm talking about. I apologise to everybody else in the call. Okay, I have not got any questions here. All right, ladies. I will let you all go. I am away to have my dinner now and walk the dog, and then I'm going to get my pajamas on. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that made sense. Please give me some comments, give me some feedback. I want to do more of these lives. So yeah, comments, feedback, absolutely vital for me to get better. So if you want a copy of the document, copy below, and I'll check out now, and I will speak to you all later. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, girls. As I say, hope you liked it. All right, bye.